Darkness. A lamp flickers against a mud brick wall. A boy lies still on a mat, breath shallow. A woman kneels over him, not a servant, but a queen, dressed as a stranger, hair covered, feet dusty from the road. She had gone to Shiloh in disguise, praying the old prophet's blind eyes wouldn't know her face. They didn't need to. "Come in, wife of Jeroboam," he'd said before she even knocked. "Why pretend to be someone else? I have hard news, and no disguise will soften it." His voice didn't rise. It didn't have to. "Go back and tell your husband. The Lord tore a kingdom from one house and placed it in his hands, and he has repaid that gift with idols of gold. When your feet cross your threshold, the boy will die. He is the only one in your house who will be mourned, the only one who will be buried in peace." She said nothing. There was nothing to say. She crosses the threshold now, and the child is already gone. Years earlier, before the crown, before the gold, Jeroboam was nobody's king. He was a name on a labor roster, a young man from Ephraim, sharp enough that King Solomon himself noticed him. Solomon was building walls, terraces, the whole skyline of Jerusalem rising under forced labor, thousands of workers, and someone had to make sure the work got done. That someone was Jeroboam. He was good at it, efficient, the kind of man who gets noticed for the right reasons until he starts noticing things too. And what Jeroboam noticed was weight, the weight Solomon's kingdom put on the backs of ordinary people, heavy taxes, heavier labor, a crown getting richer while the men hauling stone for it went home poorer. He kept his mouth shut, for now. But somebody was watching him too. One day, walking alone outside the city, Jeroboam met a stranger on the road, Ahijah, a prophet from Shiloh. Younger then, not yet the blind old man in the doorway. Just a man in a brand new cloak, standing in the middle of the road, watching him approach. Without a word, Ahijah took hold of that new cloak and tore it. Not a small tear. 12 pieces ripped clean, scattered on the dirt between them. Jeroboam froze. This wasn't madness. This was a message. "Take 10 pieces, Ahijah said, for this is what the Lord says. I am about to tear the kingdom out of Solomon's hand, and I will give you 10 tribes. Jeroboam's hands were shaking as he gathered the torn cloth. "Solomon has forsaken me," Ahijah went on. "He has worshipped foreign gods, and for this judgment is coming on his house. Not all of it. For David's sake, 1 tribe will remain. But the rest, 10 tribes, will be yours." Then came the condition, the hinge the whole story turns on. "If you listen to what I command, if you walk in my ways, do what is right in my eyes, keep my statutes, I will be with you. I will build you a dynasty as enduring as the one I built for David, and I will give Israel to you." Jeroboam stood in the road, holding 10 pieces of torn cloth and a promise that could outlast his own life. If he kept his end of it, he would not. Word travels fast in a palace. Solomon heard about the torn robe, heard about the prophecy, and a king who hears he is about to lose 10 tribes to his own official does not respond with patience. Solomon tried to kill him. Jeroboam ran, not to some quiet village, all the way to Egypt, into the court of Pharaoh Shishak, and there he waited. Years passed. Solomon's reign, for all its wealth and wisdom, curdled at the edges. Foreign wives, foreign gods, creeping into the very temple he'd built. The kingdom Solomon left behind was not the kingdom he inherited. Then Solomon died, and the news reached Egypt. The throne of Israel now belonged to Solomon's son, Rehoboam, young, untested, and about to make the worst decision of his life. Jeroboam packed for home. The tribes gathered at Shechem to crown Rehoboam, but they came with a demand first. "Your father put a heavy yoke on us," the elders said. "Lighten it, and we will serve you." Rehoboam asked for 3 days to think it over. He consulted the old men who'd advised his father. They told him exactly what you'd expect. Serve the people well, and they'll serve you forever." Then he consulted his friends, young men who'd grown up in palace luxury, who had never once carried a stone for anyone. Their advice was different. "Tell them," they said, "my little finger is thicker than my father's waist. My father laid a heavy yoke on you. I'll make it heavier. He scourged you with whips. I'll scourge you with scorpions." Rehoboam liked that answer better. He gave it word for word. The 10 tribes didn't wait for a second chance to negotiate. "What share do we have in David?" they said. "To your tents, Israel." And just like that, the united kingdom of David and Solomon tore in half, exactly as torn as the cloak on that dusty road. Israel crowned Jeroboam king. The word of Ahijah had come to pass, word for word. The hard part, staying faithful to the rest of it, hadn't even started yet.
I hope you are enjoying the video, and please tell me where you are watching from.
Jeroboam should have been the happiest man in Israel. He had everything Ahijah promised: a crown, 10 tribes, a dynasty within reach, if he simply trusted the God who'd handed it to him. Instead, he sat on his new throne and felt afraid. Here was the problem. The temple, the one place every Israelite was commanded to worship, sat in Jerusalem, in Rehoboam's kingdom. Every festival, every sacrifice, every pilgrimage meant his own people walking straight back into his rival's territory. Jeroboam thought it through, like a man solving a political problem, not a spiritual one. If these people go up to sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, they will kill me and go back to Rehoboam. So he made 2 calves of gold. He set one in Bethel, in the south of his kingdom, and one in Dan, in the north, a shrine at each border, so no one would need to travel far. Then he said the words that would follow his name through the rest of the Bible. "You have gone up to Jerusalem long enough. Here are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." Golden calves. The same sin, almost the same words, as the wilderness generation at Sinai, except this time spoken by the king himself. He didn't stop there. He built shrines on the high places, appointed priests who weren't from the tribe of Levi, anyone willing to serve. He even invented his own festival on his own calendar, mimicking the real one, so his kingdom would feel complete without ever setting foot near Jerusalem. It worked, politically. His throne was secure. It cost him everything else. Jeroboam was standing at the altar in Bethel, incense in hand, about to offer a sacrifice himself, a king playing priest, when a stranger walked into the courtyard. A man of God, sent from Judah, and he didn't come to negotiate. He spoke directly to the altar, not to the king. "O altar, altar, thus says the Lord, a son will be born to the house of David, Josiah by name, and on you he will sacrifice the priests who now burn incense here. Human bones will be burned on you." Then for proof it wasn't just words, "This altar will be torn apart, and its ashes poured out." Jeroboam's face went red. He pointed his hand at the man. "Seize him!" The hand that gave the order froze solid, withered, stuck in place, unable to move. At the same instant, the altar itself split open, ashes spilling across the stones, exactly as promised. Jeroboam's anger drained out of him in an instant, replaced by something closer to panic. "Intercede for me," he said. "Ask the Lord your God to restore my hand." The man of God prayed, and the hand came back, normal, whole, like nothing had happened. Jeroboam, having just watched his own hand wither and heal in front of him, having just watched an altar crack open exactly as prophesied, turned to the man of God and offered him a meal and a gift, as if the two of them were simply doing business. The man of God refused and left the way he came. It's one of the strangest details in the whole story. A king who witnesses an undeniable miracle, aimed directly at his own body, and walks away from it unchanged, not humbled, not repentant, just inconvenienced, and then back to business. That refusal to change is the real story of Jeroboam. Not that he never saw the truth. He saw it plainly, more than once. He simply chose gold over it, every time. Some time later, Jeroboam's son Abijah fell sick. And here is the strange mercy hidden inside the story. Of everyone in Jeroboam's household, this was the boy the text says had some good thing in him toward the Lord. Whatever that means, whatever quiet faithfulness a child can carry inside a house built on idols, it was there in Abijah and nowhere else in that family. Jeroboam, still not willing to face Ahijah as himself, sent his wife in disguise instead, as if the prophet's blindness might somehow blind him to the truth as well. It didn't. Ahijah named her before she spoke a word, and delivered, without softening it, the judgment that had been building since the day of the golden calves. The boy would die, the only member of that house shown any mercy at all, because he alone would be spared the fate coming for the rest of them. Everyone else in Jeroboam's line would meet a violent, unmourned end. Dogs and birds would finish what the sword started. Because, Ahijah said, you have done more evil than all who lived before you. You have made for yourself other gods, images of metal, to provoke me to anger, and have thrust me behind your back. She walked home, already knowing what she'd find. The boy died the moment she crossed the threshold. All Israel mourned him and buried him, exactly as Ahijah said, the only one of Jeroboam's house who would be. Jeroboam reigned 22 years. When he died, his son Nadab took the throne. Nadab lasted 2 years. 2 years, walking the same path his father had cut, the text says, in the way of his father, and in his sin, which he made Israel sin. Same golden calves. Same refusal to turn back. Then a man named Baasha, from the tribe of Issachar, conspired against him, struck him down, took the throne for himself. And Baasha didn't stop with Nadab. He killed every remaining member of Jeroboam's household, every last one, until nothing of that family was left breathing. Exactly as Ahijah had said, on that road, in that doorway, over and over, a man sweeps away dung until it is gone. The kingdom Jeroboam tore away from Rehoboam outlived his own bloodline by only 24 years. He got everything he was promised and lost all of it, not because God failed to keep his word, but because Jeroboam never intended to keep his.